Good morning, it is Monday, week 12. We are nearly at the end of the height of the block, just this week and next week to go. This morning we are doing a 12k recovery. Yesterday's run was absolutely brutal. I don't think I've ever felt as physically and mentally exhausted from a run as I did yesterday. Like I just got home and sat on the sofa for hours. Like I could have gone to sleep at about 2 p.m. yesterday and probably not woken up until this morning, but yeah, absolutely heavy effort. So with that in mind, the first 3 days of this week just going to be easy running to let myself recover. Good morning, it is Tuesday. We are doing 12k easy, same as yesterday, except just up the canal in a different direction. So variety is as always the spice of life. Tuesday is usually an interval day for me, but given how big the effort was on Sunday, 24k of marathon pace, I thought, you know what, let's just take it easy, give the body a chance to recover from that. And again, I said not doing any speed work until Thursday now. So yeah, it's all about being sensible, go hard in sessions, but then also give yourself some time to recover. Good morning, it is Wednesday, halfway through the week, or the working week, and we're doing the 13k today. Again, another easy effort. That's opening the week with 3 easy efforts after Sunday's madness. And tomorrow we're going to do a session. Later today, I'm going to go to the gym. It is a beautiful day here in Leeds. Lovely morning, nice and crisp, but sunny, not much of a breeze. Oh, it's beautiful, man. Absolutely loving it, to be honest with you. Look at that, eh? Beautiful. Good morning, all. It is Thursday. It is time for the first speed session of the week. And what a baptism of fire it is. 8 by 2k at threshold. I did 7 by 2k at threshold a couple of weeks ago, if you remember. And so yeah, just adding a rep because I hate myself because that session wasn't hard enough. This is going to be an absolutely heinous amount of laps of air park. Ridiculous. That is that session done. Monster. I'll put the splits up. If I do say so myself, I smashed that. Very, very happy with that one. So that was a 7 by 2 session. And sorry, that was an 8 by 2 session. And compared to the 7 by 2 I did the other week, I didn't feel anywhere near as fucked. 2 differentiating factors. One, last time I had a banana and a bagel. This time I had a banana and a gel. The other, 2 days before the last one, I did intervals, whereas I've just done 3 days of easy running before this. So there we go. Although as a potential counterpoint, I do have way more volume in my legs this time than I did for the last one. So maybe I'm just built different. Good morning, it is Friday. We are doing a nice easy 6k. It's a very gloomy day here in Leeds this morning, but yeah, shaking the legs out after yesterday's big threshold session. My legs don't actually feel as smashed up as I thought they might after yesterday, which I'm taking as a good sign that I've got a lot more durability in them than I thought I did. So happy days. Given that Friday is no longer a rest day, the reason I'm only doing 6k is because I wanted to still keep it as easy as possible. It's still a down day. I don't really think I debriefed enough on yesterday's threshold session, but I felt dangerous, man. Like really, really good. I'll put some more of the stats on the screen, heart rate, things like that, but everything was where I wanted it to be. For me, that was just like the perfect case study in using fast acting carbs before a run, especially in my morning runs when I've not got much time to fuel. The bagel that I had before the last one was probably too slow, whereas the gel, let me tell you, that went straight into the system. The only downside of it is that it did sort of sit in my stomach for a bit, so it wasn't too comfortable to run with that in you, but it wasn't that bad, and it didn't manifest itself at the other end, which is all good. Good morning, it is Saturday, a very misty and gloomy one in Leeds today. We're doing 16k and going to the gym, but not in that order. We're doing gym, then 16k. How exciting. The reason for that is I'm running with a mate today, and it's not until about 9:30, and I wouldn't have time to go to the gym after, so there we go. That is Saturday morning done and dusted then. 17.7k, a little bit further than I thought I'd end up going, but not too bad. Happy with that. It was a really nice effort actually. Heart rate remained pretty low, like 164, given I was doing 430s, but I attribute that to just the fact that I was with someone, and you always feel like you're running easier. I don't know the logic behind it, but you just do. So yeah, very good, very enjoyable.
Big long run tomorrow. One of my worst nightmares, which is not a marathon pace session, but an easy pace long run. Doing 35k tomorrow. So yeah, it's probably gonna kill me, to be honest with you, in terms of boredom. But gonna need to find some good podcasts. We'll see you then.
Good morning. It is Sunday. It is long run day. We're doing 35k easy. I'm about 13k in, so still got a long way to go. Jesus fucking Christ, I'm glad that's over. Good morning all. It is Monday. We are in week 13. This is peak week. After this, we start deloading. Thank God for that. The training this week is all geared around one session on Sunday, one big marathon pace session. I'll talk about it more when we get there, but it's such a whopper. So as a result of that, nothing I'm doing this week in the build up to it is any speed work at all. So just chilling, easy, steady runs. Not feeling too good mentally this morning. Woke up and was just like, I cannot be bothered, knackered, absolutely exhausted, bit of a headache, just dread really. So yeah, optimistic start, happy Monday. I don't think I mentioned the distance yet. I'm doing 13k this morning, just at a nice easy pace, because yesterday I ran 35 kilometers. Jesus. In fairness, saying that mentally I don't feel good is true, but physically I feel way better than I thought I would at this point in the peak weeks of training. So taking that as a good sign that I've been doing the right things in terms of recovery, not pushing myself too far, and yeah, the body seems to be responding okay. Touch wood. Good morning. It is Tuesday, and as with Monday, we are doing the same run, 13k. Maybe a bit faster than yesterday, probably. Legs feel not as battered, so yeah, no variety in my training whatsoever. Raw dogging this one again, no headphones, just me and my thoughts. Today's thoughts were, I wonder when the first recreational runners were a thing. Like, you know, they obviously had people running for food and shit, but what about for fun? And then it remembered, like, it was the ancient Greeks, obviously, and the Olympics. And I googled it, it was them, and the ancient Egyptians as well. So boring. What a boring segment of the video that is. Jesus Christ. Congratulations if you get through and watch that. I'll look at the analytics now, and in that 5-10 seconds they'll just go in terms of viewers. Good morning. It is Wednesday. We are halfway through the week, and we are doing a double run day for the first time ever. I've never really tried this. I've always sort of turned my nose up at it. I'm always like, let's just get the run out the way, early doors, and all the volume is done. But I've got some pretty silly mileage to hit this week, and the thought of going out a morning before work and doing like 20 plus K all in one, easy, you know, being out for like nearly 2 hours just isn't that appealing. So I'm going to split some of my volume up, and I'm going to do 2 runs today, starting with a 10k today. And it's good, it's meant that it's allowed me to sleep a bit more, not by much, but maybe like 15 minutes, half an hour, but it all adds up. So yeah, that's what we're doing. 10k easy this morning, and then I'm joining one of my work colleagues later on. He's a guy I'm actually coaching, training for the Leeds Marathon, not half. And yeah, going to do one of his runs, which I think is like 10k tempo with a bit of a warm up and a cool down. So again, shouldn't be too strenuous of a day, but that's what it looks like. Good morning. It is Thursday. What a lovely Thursday morning it is as well. Bloody freezing. I'll tell you that for free. There's frost on the ground. It's the 26th of March, man. We've regressed as a country back into winter. But anyhow, today we're doing 10k easy. I did my first double day yesterday. It was fine, really. Didn't feel too bad. I didn't film much of the second run, really, just because I was with a workmate. So it's always a bit awkward to just whip a camera out and start recording yourself and them, you know, a bit intense. It is a good way of breaking up runs if you don't have enough time to do it all in one go, to be fair. So that is a benefit from a time management perspective, but from a performance and recovery perspective, I'd say it doesn't really make much of a difference. Good morning. We are on Friday of peak week, And this is a 10k easy run this morning, replicating yesterday, ahead of tomorrow's big marathon pace session. I've just got tomorrow on my mind. It's living rent free in my head all week. Well, sort of. I was thinking about this actually the other day. As much as it would be fun to be a full-time athlete, don't get me wrong, I feel like one of the benefits of having a job and like a full-time thing that you actually do, like what you're actually getting paid for, is that you don't really think about running too much during the week or as much during the week. Well, I don't, at least. Like, for me, it's just quite a nice thing to distract yourself with, because otherwise I think that's all I think about, and I just sort of spiral. Like, I experienced this last year, similar time of year actually, before the Manchester Marathon. I'd actually left my job and I had a week where I wasn't really doing anything, and that just happened to be the week before the marathon, and I just spent so much time overthinking it, thinking about what I was going to do on the day, how I was going to feel, blah blah blah. And don't get me wrong, like, there's a place for that, but if we're thinking too much about it, it gets a bit overwhelming.
'Twas the night before the long run, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. That's a ridiculous intro, but it's been in my head, so I had to give you it. I had to get it out somewhere. It's Friday night, it's 9 p.m. It's the last Friday of the month, no less. I was walking home from work earlier, seeing people smashing pints, having a few drinks after a long month of working hard. And instead, I was walking home to smash into, not pints, but a big bowl of spaghetti bolognese and about 6 slices of garlic bread in preparation for tomorrow's effort. Now, I've been hinting at the fact that I've got a big marathon pace session throughout this video so far, throughout this week so far. And it is a big one. It is the biggest training session, the hardest training session probably I will ever attempt. And it's 3 by 10k at marathon pace with a 1k float in between, a warm up and a cool down either side. So in total, I think the volume is going to be around 37k, which is the furthest I'll run in the block. And 30 of that being a marathon pace is pretty intense. I've seen people do this session before, and to be honest, I've just not really ever had the minerals to attempt it, nor do I think it would have been wise for me to attempt it in previous training blocks, just because of the fitness that I had. But I penciled this in as my like landmark session, the one that will, I guess, close off the big build that I've been doing over the last 5 weeks, and thought, look, if I feel good, then I'll do it. If not, then I don't have to do it. And I'm still leaving the I don't have to do it option on the table. You know, tomorrow I could get into it. I'm going to start it and see how I feel. But, you know, if I feel like it's a bit too much or it's taking too much out of me, then I'll put it mid-session, obviously, because I've got just about 3 weeks now until the Newport Marathon. So there's not really any point in taking big risks at this stage. And I've banked a lot of fitness. But I do feel really good going into it. Physically, like, I do feel a bit tired this week and just a bit exhausted. And that's just the very nature of, I think, working a full-time job as a normal person does, and running, you know, more than 100k in a week, which I've been doing for the last 4 weeks consecutively. And this week will be 5 weeks of that. So yeah, it's pretty intense. I don't have an optimal recovery schedule. I try my best, but it does catch up on you a bit. So based on how I feel right now, like tonight, I don't feel very nice. I don't know why. It's Friday, end of the working week. I think I'm just a bit tired, but I'm going to get an early night. Hopefully wake up tomorrow and feel much better. But I'm feeling pretty good overall in terms of like my physical fitness. Like right now, in this precise moment at, you know, now 9:15 on this Friday night, I don't feel amazing, but I think I'm just tired. Obviously, big sessions that I've done already. I did 24k unbroken marathon pace a couple of weeks ago, and that's the biggest session I've done so far. So based on that evidence, I feel pretty confident on my ability to execute tomorrow's session pretty well, given that it's only another 6k of marathon pace and I get the floats in between, so it's not unbroken effort. So based on that, I think I'm in pretty good shape to have a crack at it and, you know, to execute it well. So I mean, I'm anticipating and I'm hoping at least that the first 2 blocks up to, you know, 20k of volume will feel like not good but okay, and then the final block we'll really see. So yeah, we'll see how we go. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, I need to go to bed. It's 9:15 and I'm going to go to bed because I'm going to be up early tomorrow. See you there. Good morning. It is Saturday morning. I got up at 6. I smashed my breakfast and now I am just getting stuck in to one of these bad boys, the fucking caffeinated demon. This is a nuclear weapon of caffeinated drinks, Celsius, and it's about 45 minutes-ish until I'm going to go and head out and get stuck into the long run. I do feel better this morning than I did yesterday, which is good. I said I felt a bit tired, a bit sluggish, but yeah, feeling a little bit better. I'm thinking that bad boy as well will probably go some way to helping me feel even better. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous for this one. I don't really know why. It's a fucking long way. It's a lot of marathon pace. So yeah, but we're going to enjoy it. This is a choice and I get to do this sort of stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. Whew, right, let me take you through that because that is the best executed long run I've ever done in any training block ever. It was just sensational, really. I can't explain how happy I am with that. Like, it was just class. To say I was a bit terrified of doing it at the start, to go and execute it like that, buzzing, big confidence booster, big confidence booster. So let's talk you through it. To remind you of the session, it was a 2K warm up, followed by 3 lots of 10K at marathon pace, and a 1K float in between the sets, with a 3K cool down at the end to pull it all together. So a reminder that marathon pace for sub-3 marathon is 4:15 per kilometre. That's what you have to average. And the first rep, to take you through some of the data, I did the first 10K rep in 42 minutes and 17 seconds. Now, to be on sub-3 pace, it's 42 minutes and 30 seconds for the 10K block. So a little bit faster there, averaging 4:14 per kilometre. And then the second block was 42:15, so a couple of seconds faster, still averaging 4:14. The final block though is the one that I'm most happy with. It was 41:39, averaging 4:10 per kilometre, so a whole 5 seconds per kilometre faster than I needed to be, which, given that it was the last block of the set, I'm really happy with. In terms of the heart rate data as well, that's what I'm really happy with more than anything. So the first rep, my average heart rate, which was the slowest rep, was 174, second 170, third and final one, which was the fastest rep of them all, was only 169. Now, obviously, there's some mitigating factors in some of that. You know, I'm going down here because I'm just doing a lunge. There's some mitigating factors in that. On the way out, I think the reason why the first rep was the slowest yet I worked the hardest according to heart rate is because there was the most uphill, like locks basically on the canal. If you ran the Leeds Liverpool canal, there's a few locks, probably about 5 or 6 in that entire route, and you have to go up them, but every single one isn't up on the way out. And the wind was also coming towards me there, so I did have to work quite a bit harder in the first rep. My heart rate probably would have been lower at that pace had it not been for those conditions. And I think obviously the reason why it was lowest on the way back in terms of like the last rep was entirely all the way back, so that the second rep, half of that was out and half of it was back. That's why I turned around, and the final rep was just all back. So there was the wind sort of behind me, which was nice. It didn't feel very strong behind me, but I mean, it definitely wasn't coming towards me, which was the main thing. And then I had a couple of locks to run down, so basically negative elevation, which is great. So that meant that it was, yeah, lower effort level, but obviously managed to squeeze the pace. So yeah, pretty happy with that overall. Like, just couldn't have asked for much more. I fueled with, I think I managed to get 5 gels in me in the end. I probably could have got one more in me, but just didn't bother. I did 4 sodium tablets as well. They all seemed to go down well. Some water with me on the run. No fueling problems, which is good. I feel like that's a part that, touch wood, I'm starting to master now. And yeah, I mean, just class, man. Like 37K total volume for that workout, 30K at marathon pace, and just way ahead of pace. The effort level was probably the most pleasing part of that as well, given that it's the end of some seriously high volume training, a lot of fatigue in the legs. So to go and do that, yeah, I mean, I'll take it. Unbelievable. So happy. Whew.
Good afternoon, it is Sunday. No long run for me today, of course, I did that yesterday. But today we are doing 16k in total volume. You'll notice that I'm not in my usual surroundings of Leeds. I'm actually, excuse the wind, in the city of Milton Keynes, which is my ancestral home. This is where I spent the first 18 years of my life. When I was putting together my training plan, this week was always going to be my peak week. And it just so happened that it's been the biggest or busiest weekend, this weekend, for social events that I've ever had. Not ever, but this year probably. It was a busy day yesterday, and then today a big family event means I'm down here, so it's not been ideal for trying to cram 53 kilometers of running in, but we're trying and we're doing well. So I'm having to be very economical with my time. I couldn't run this morning. I could only run yesterday in the morning, and my other window maybe at some point this evening, but as I say, I've got family commitments. I don't know when they'll be finished. I don't really know how much time I'll have tonight, so with that in mind, I had a bit of a window here where I thought, let me just get some miles in before I have to go out for lunch. So we're just seeing how much I can do. I'm not going to do the full 16, but then whatever I do now, the less I'll have to do later. So somewhat surprisingly, I don't feel anywhere near as fucked as I thought I would after yesterday. Don't get me wrong, I'm still pretty sore in parts, and like you take a step and you go, ooh, I can feel that bit, but nowhere near as fucked as I thought I'd be. What a touch. Here I am then on part 2 of today's run, and this is way harder. I'm tired, I'm full of a lot of food. It was a good feed at lunch. We had a big burger, chips, some starters, some fucking birthday cake, and honestly, it is all just still in me, floating about, just undigested. I feel horrible, but we're getting it done. I am shuffling towards a PB mileage week. Oh my god, like, yeah, ridiculous. This run of 5 weeks has been something that's lived in my head rent-free for quite a while. You know, since I even put the plan together, I was thinking about it. Oh, this is a big 5 weeks. You know, 556, well, it's going to be 558k of total volume across the 5 weeks, 3 PB mileage weeks back to back. This is ambitious, and I was thinking about it when I started the training plan from week 1. I was thinking about this 5 weeks. Is it too much? Will I crumble? Am I pushing it too far? And then it came, and I still had those same thoughts. But if I'm honest, it's flown by, this 5 weeks, and here we are. It's the last run, the last few kilometers of this build, which are just, it's a crazy thought. This isn't the first time I'm saying this, but I think it's quite easy to get bogged down in the day-to-day of training, and you're just constantly looking, you know, at what's in front of you or what the next run is. It's nice to take a look back and see how far you've actually come, and I try and do that quite consciously, and you should too, because especially now as I close up this ridiculous 5-week run of training, you know, I look back and think, about 2.5 years ago, I never even thought about training for a marathon. I, you know, fainted at the finish line of a half marathon 3 years ago in May. 5 years ago, 5 and a bit years ago, set a charity fundraiser up, running 100k in a month, and that felt like a lot. I've done 111k on average over the last 5 weeks per week. So yeah, it just goes to show that you can really make a huge amount of progress in not a lot of time, even if it doesn't feel like you're going forward in the moment. Yeah, you look back and you think, fucking hell, actually, that was quite a lot. And that's so important, because the only person you're really competing with is yourself. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, it doesn't matter what the bloke who I run with does, or the thousands of influencers you see on social media are doing. As long as you're enjoying it and you're getting better each day, then it's all that matters. And I look at this last 5 weeks and I think, regardless of what happens at Newport, 3 weeks today, I'm hoping it'll be a sub-3 marathon, obviously, but nothing will take away this training block from me. This has been the best executed training block so far, and the self-belief that gives you, and the confidence it gives you, that can never be taken. There we go, that is the end. The final run of this big old block of training complete. That is the end of week 13. That is a PB week again, 122 kilometers. From tomorrow, we taper. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the taper.